crowd were eating something that I didn't. But, yeah, it was something. He told us how he believed in us, just like we believe in Sasquatch. It's beautiful. Beautiful scene. All right, we got Jason Wilde coming up at 10:30. We did State of the Packers 2025 yesterday. Myself, Gabe Neitzel, Jason Wilde. 3-hour deep dive in all things green and gold. If you missed any of that, you can find it back on YouTube, ESPN Wisconsin app, wherever you get your podcasts. Just look up the Green and Gold Fix podcast feed, and you'll find all 3 hours of State of the Packers. But I kind of want to unpack, and we'll do this with Jason in a bit, some of the key takeaways for this 2025 Packers season. Because it's always a show that, at least for me, I think for Jason and Gabe, it's more so, hey, we spend so much time on our shows talking about this. It's good to just get final thoughts ahead of training camp out there. And this is where I think they're at. This is how good for me, it's more of a, okay, these are two guys who I respect the hell out of.
Yep.
Who are really, really smart, right? Really, really smart guys, and who are really good at what we do. And I like hearing where their mindset is at. Now, years past, they've been pessimistic, I've been optimistic, and I've been proven right. This year, I walked away from that show thinking, okay, this is going to be an interesting year. So we'll dive into that a little bit coming up next. 11 o'clock hour, we'll talk a little Brewers. Brandon Woodruff returns for the first time since 2023
today.
So
Woody's back.
Big day for the Brewers, who, by the way, since I have said on Thursday's edition of KBN, they will be catching the Cubs. I think they're 1-3.
Yeah, they're 4 games behind now, last time I checked.
Yeah, I think I jinxed them. So we'll talk Brewers in the 11 o'clock hour and Bucks in the 11 o'clock hour as well. But I want to talk Packers because I want to unpack this with you, being the big Packers fan you are. Kind of our key takeaways from State of the Packers 2025 before we talk with Jason Wilde at 10:30. That's all still ahead. It's Sunday Karma with you, ESPN Wisconsin.
This is Sunday Karma on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app. You really want a summer of entertainment?
My job to win a World Series is my job to provide a summer of entertainment.
Be careful what you wish for.
Struck him out looking. Ball game over. It's a grand slam. Dives. He caught it. Struck him out looking. Oh, my goodness. Christian Yelich. Mizorowski. Sal Freeling. Trevor McGill.
Everything Brew Crew lives right here. 94.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
At Tony Wendorf and Associates First Weber Real Estate Services, we believe in the human side of real estate. For us, it's faith, family, and friends in that order. We live that every single day. We move fast, negotiate with confidence, and communicate clearly so our clients win. We operate from a place of gratitude, having donated nearly $200,000 back to our community since 2020. You deserve a team that delivers a luxury experience no matter the price point. Tony Wendorf and Associates, trusted knowledge, superior service. Contact us today at wendorfteam.firstweber.com.
Fisco is always there for your auto body care. When accidents happen, Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin is there when you need them. Got a broken mirror? They'll take care of it. Dented bumper? Scratch paint? Fisco Auto Body will take care of it. If there's any damage you need fixed, Fisco has you covered. Their expert workmanship is guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. So stop in for all of your auto bumps and dings. Once again, you know the line. That's Fisco.
What we love about our ability to help patients at QC Kinetics is seeing their pure delight at finally being able to do the things they enjoy without pain.
I had a patient start treatment with me. He wanted to be able to be active again and do some of his sports that he really enjoyed.
Dr. Ashley Caravelli, Milwaukee's medical director for QC Kinetics, treats patients with chronic joint pain using their body's own biologics. The goal? Get them back to living their best lives without surgery or harmful drugs.
He came back and he goes, what I wasn't expecting was the ability to play on the floor with my grandchildren. Even just saying it now, I have goosebumps because it's changing those small moments that you take for granted.
Don't let joint pain rob you of those moments. See if you're a candidate for QC Kinetics regenerative treatments.
It just warms my heart to be able to help people live the life they want to live and get those small moments back.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Don't scroll past summer. Experience it live at Summerfest because it's more than just a music festival. It's your summer highlight reel. Don't miss Summerfest, June 19th to July 5th. Presented by American Family Insurance. Get tickets at summerfest.com.
Hey, it's Kyle Walsh. You know owning a home is one of the best investments you can make, but keeping it comfortable, energy efficient, and looking great, that takes a little extra work. But this summer, Universal Windows Direct is making it easy to finally tackle that project with an offer you can't pass up. Right now, you get to choose your offer. Pick the one that works for you. Payments as low as $99 a month or 12 months with no payments and no interest. Call 414-410-2000 or go to universalwindowsdirect.com.
Baseball is back. Brian Balaga here to bring you a proud partner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. A delicious and perfect pairing for a day at the ballpark. Stocked at American Family Field all season long. Surfside is only 100 calories per serving, and the best part, 0 bubbles. Ask for it at your local bar or liquor store. Surfside, an official partner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Must be 21 years of age. Please drink responsibly.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
That dog does not want to be petted.
Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Start the day with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
When you're paid like an A player, you have to play like an A player, not a B player, and he has never played like an A player.
On 94.5 ESPN, ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube channel, and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Big bands in my Bentley next. Don't play around on my phone. Give me watch on my wrist, out of date, but it's Rolex. Grizzly up next. I'm up now. Stop your bullet. That's fine.
More Sunday Karma coming up on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Yeah, it's Sunday Karma with you on this Sunday morning. I'm Alex Strove. Kyle Wallace hanging out with you as well until noon this morning. Greg Carvers and Greg Scales have the day off.
So Greg has the lifetime off, doesn't he? On Sundays.
I mean, they both do, frankly.
Where's Greg at today?
I don't know. I don't ask.
Yeah, I don't ask either.
I just know, 95%. That might be high recently for me. I've been, I had last Sunday off. I'll be off next Sunday.
Oh, yeah. I'll be in Madison next Sunday, I believe.
What do you got out there? Wedding?
Middleton?
Wedding?
No, I think we have our shows remote next Sunday. I think.
Oh, I'm in Vegas. Yeah, you're right. No, that's next week.
That's
you're
next Sunday, yeah. I actually have quite a bit going on next week. We have the Walk Against Violence, Tory Lowe Walk Against Violence on Saturday. So.
Yeah, I'm sad to miss it, but it'll be a great event.
Did you miss it last year, too?
When was it last year?
About the same time. Did you, so you decided not to schedule your vacation around us?
Rephrase the question?
You didn't schedule your vacation around us.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. I did. I made sure I was available. I'll
be
gone the following week.
That's good. Where are you going?
Don't worry about it.
Well, that's rude.
Don't worry about it.
Pretty open with you about what I'm doing.
That's your choice. You can't force me to be like you. My opinion, my choice.
I wish everybody.
My life, my choice.
Frankly, I wish everybody was more like me.
I'm glad.
World be a better place.
Yeah. Okay. By the way, I'll let you get to it. Your mother is wonderful, wonderful woman. I see where you get it from.
Oh yeah, you met her on Thursday.
Yeah, she gave me a beer and everything.
Yeah. Did you drink it or did you throw it away?
I drank it. What do you mean?
Good for you. Well, I lost you, and I thought maybe he just ditched it.
Yeah. No, I walked towards the exit and I left
with the beer.
No, of course not.
So you threw it out?
No, I drank the beer.
Okay. What did you say?
Nothing. Keep going.
Okay. He threw it out. I knew it. You threw it out. Did you really?
Keep going, man. I'm not talking to you on air. I'm off here.
Oh, okay. Got it. Keep going. All right. Here we go. I love working with you, man. It's always obnoxious. So, yesterday's State of the Packers 2025, live from Summerfest. Myself, Gabe Neitzel, Jason Wilde. We do this every year. It's I think the third year for the three of us. It's the fourth year that I've been a part of it. And it's a show we've done off and on since 2006. It got revived at some point. And, if you've never heard the show, the idea for us is to go position group by position group and just do like a quick evaluation of where every position group is at. And then we spend the final hour essentially evaluating how good we view this team can be in the NFC North, in the NFC, in the NFL. And I walk away from that show with a couple of key takeaways. And the main one being this, Kyle. I think this season could be really entertaining, but also a backslide in terms of the record.
So you don't think they get to 11?
I think they could get to 13.
No. But you said backslide. So backslide would mean that you have more in your heart that you feel that this Green Bay Packers team is going to actually be less than 11 wins. So you may think they can get to 13. Yeah, they can. If they beat some good teams, yeah, they can get to 13. But you just said backslide. That's what came out your mouth.
Yeah, it could lead to a backslide. So I think Jason said it best, who's going to join us in about 5 minutes. He said this could be a team that is much better in terms of everything looks more complete. They look more, they just look like a better team, but they could go 9-8. That's given the schedule, right? Think about all the hard teams on the schedule this year for Green Bay. Think about the division in terms of the NFC North. Now, Detroit lost both of their coordinators, yes, but they're also not decimated with injuries. At least they won't be at the beginning of the year when you play them week 1, like they were at the end of last season. Minnesota's still a little bit of a question mark because of J.J. McCarthy, but all things considered, Chicago should probably be improved, at least in some capacity. So the division's a little bit tougher, I think, all around. I think all these teams should be better, including the Packers. I think when you look at the divisions you play this year, it's not like you got easy teams on your schedule, man. I mean, you play the AFC North, who's debatably the second best division in football. Bengals, Ravens, Steelers, Browns. I think what this team lacks, and this has been the theme, but what this team lacks is superstars. Right? I think if you look at the Packers and you go, hey, who on that team is a bona fide superstar? What's your answer? Josh Jacobs, maybe?
Josh Jacobs is the only one that Josh Jacobs and Jordan Love are only too close to being superstars. Xavier McKinney should be a superstar, but because he just is not currently Xavier McKinney is not a superstar yet. But I mean, if he does again what he did last year,
he is debatably though your best defensive player.
Who's better than him?
I think some people would probably try to make the case for Edgerrin Cooper, which is a case I would hear.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
He's not better than him. He's not better than him now.
It's crazy to say that though we know how good Edgerrin Cooper played last year, he's not even in the conversation. Now, can he bust onto the scene and be a big contributor that turns into a star? Yes, but Xavier McKinney is the only defensive player on this roster that is close to being a bona fide superstar, and he's not even that. He's the best player by far right now.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I hear you on that, but Cooper needs to take a step, and Rashawn Gary needs to take a step, and Lucas Van Ness needs to take a step. And offensively, one of these receivers needs to emerge. Hopefully it's Matthew Golden, but you'd love to see Jaden Reed get that snap count up and become a reliable number 2. You'd want to see Dontavian Wicks finally blossom, with all the potential he's got, blossom into a really good player. What the Packers lack is superstardom. And that is either A, going to change, and some of these guys are finally going to have their arrival. And Love, obviously, hopefully one of them in 2025. And then all of a sudden, maybe we are looking at a 12 or 13 win team that wins the NFC North. But if you don't have those guys take that full-blown step and evolve into really, really good NFL players, this could be I don't think the floor is that low, which is good. It's probably 9 wins is the floor. And that would mean nobody takes the step. You still have a question about who's your top receiver. Cornerback is a significant issue without Jair. The defensive line, despite the coaching change, doesn't take a step in the right direction, and they still aren't disrupting the opposing pass game. They were fine against the run last year, but against the pass, this defensive line struggled to get after the quarterback. So it seems to me, and this was my takeaway from the 3-hour conversation with Gabe and Jason, was I don't know if this team is quite on the doorstep of a Super Bowl like maybe we hope they are here in year 3 of Jordan Love. That was kind of my key takeaway was, okay, they have good players. Don't get me wrong. Okay, I'm not saying they're a team full of bad players. That's not the case. This is a team with good young players. But it's not good young superstars. It's not, oh boy, that is an up-and-coming team who's going to be a force for several years to come. I don't think anybody views the Packers that way. They view them as a good young team who's probably a wild card team. And unless guys take the step and evolve into studs, right, stars in this league, they're probably still a couple years out from real Super Bowl aspirations. Could they win a playoff game? Yeah, I think so. I think just given the way this team is constructed with the young talent and a good offensive-minded head coach and a better defense, They could probably win a playoff game or two. I think we're still probably at least a year away from the Super Bowl due to the lack of superstardom on this Packers roster.
And I think the biggest problem with that is that we really thought that by year 3 that this team would hit its stride. That, okay, year 1, you're going to have Jordan Love, we're going to see what it is. They performed very well. They started off rough, 3-6, but then after that they performed very well, and you saw what the potential could be. Last season, you think they took a step in the right direction, but there's still some holes in this team where you're like, okay, the guys we're expecting. You just talked about Edrin Cooper. He needs to take a step. The guy only played, 9 games last season? And so we're talking about picking next step. We need him to be healthy throughout the season so he can be a consistent contributor, right? And so there's other guys like a Lucas Van Ness on that defensive line. We're still talking about what Devontae Wyatt, who's in a huge year for him, what they're going to be for the Green Bay Packers. And so overall, this team is where they're at because they did not take the steps individually that we expected them to take last season. And so for me overall, I do have confidence that this Packers team can be very good. I think offensively, they're a sleeping giant. Listen, Josh Jacobs last year, new team, new offense, quarterback got hurt. Just learning everything, I think Josh Jacobs becomes he's already a bell cow. I think he becomes an absolute stud and tries to go for that overall rushing lead this year and leading the lead in rushing. I truly feel like he's going to have a great season. I believe this year when his touchdowns he had for rushing touchdowns was the most he had in his career in a single season. So again, I really think this Green Bay Packers offense with the solidification of the offensive line, getting Aaron Banks, moving my boy Elton Jenkins, thank you. I want to say Malcolm Jenkins for some reason. Elton Jenkins over the center. I really think this offensive line is going to be quite dominant this year. So I feel good about what the offense is going to be. And to be honest, I'm not concerned about the receivers at all. Because we know what the receivers are. No, because you know what you're getting from the receivers. You know what you're getting from Romeo Doubs.
What you're
getting. Yeah, you absolutely do know what you're going to get from them. Now, health is one thing. Health and mentally healthy is one thing. But on the football field last year, when they actually targeted Romeo wasn't a bad wide receiver.
Yeah, but so, best case scenario, Romeo is your wide receiver 3 or 4.
No, but what I'm saying is that you know what you're going to get from Jaden Reed. You know what you're going to get from Romeo Doubs. You have a feeling what you're going to get from Tay Wicks. So what I'm saying is we've seen.
I don't know if I agree with that.
We've seen the worst of this receiving group. And the worst of this receiving group run you 11 games last year. Now, they have to be better with separation, so they have to get better at that. But you've already seen the worst of this receiving group, and you brought in reinforcements where I feel better about our first-round wide receiver. Man, I need to drink some water because I can't remember no names. My boy
Matthew Golden?
Matthew Golden. Goodness gracious.
You okay?
I'm not okay. I got to get some water. I ain't had water all day today. But you are with Matthew Golden, you just have expectations for him. Savion Williams, you don't know what you're going to get from him. But those guys are more wild cards, and I feel better about Matthew Golden than what I do about Christian Watson. And so overall, when I look at this offense, I feel very confident that this offense is going to be good because you know what the floor is. You know what Tucker Kraft is. You know what Lucas Musgrave is. So you know what all these guys are going to be, or as in what their floor is. So now you got to see how good they're going to be. Their floor was top 10 last year. Top 10. With their quarterback being out for multiple games and being injured for multiple games.
Okay. There's a ton to unpack there, and we got to get to Wildy.
It's not too much to unpack, but facts.
I don't know that I agree with pretty much everything you said. I don't think you know what the worst of this receiver group is or the best of. I don't know. I don't think you said all those guys, you know what you're going to get. I don't think that's true. Jaden Reed, roller coaster ride last year. Dontavian Wicks and Jaden Reed both top 10 in drops, right? And I think the best case scenario for the receiving group, and then we'll get to Jason, is Matthew Golden comes in and he delivers immediately. Matthew Golden steps in. He's clearly your number one receiver, and we stop having the debate of, which I think we've kind of already stopped having after last season, but we stop having the debate of, well, do the Packers really need a number one receiver? Right? The best case scenario is Matthew Golden comes in and he is a superstar. And maybe that I'm using that word strong, but he comes in and he is a really, really good receiver, and he clearly has the baton. He is in first place. And then everybody kind of shuffles in after him, and then that allows those guys to do what they do best, right? Reed in terms of versatility, Wicks in terms of route running and speed. It allows some of those guys to do what they do best without being the center of attention, because that will be Matthew Golden. And ideally, he's drawing, whether that be the team's best corner or the most attention from an opposing defense. It opens things up in the middle of the field for Kraft and Musgrave, and it opens things up for the other receivers. That's the best case scenario there. I don't think you know what you're going to get. I think you have a decent idea of what to expect from a lot of those guys as they enter, year 3 or 4. But We will see. All right, Jason Wilde joins us coming up next as we unpack a little bit of State of the Packers. We'll also talk about his top 20 most important Packers list. A duo comes out today. The 2022 first-round picks together in his list over at channel3000.com. Jason Wilde, three-time Wisconsin sports writer here, joins us next. Sunday Karma on ESPN Wisconsin.
You're listening to Sunday Karma on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Hey, Monica. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Rick.
Hey, Joe. To what do we owe the honor?
Don't you have CEO-type things you need to be doing?
Or Joe might be here because he's been doing some CEO-type things that he thinks we should know about.
Bingo. You guessed it, Monica.
What do you need us to do, Joe?
Well, I'm here because I want to present an idea to you.
Cool. What is it?
I've been talking with finance companies and was able to make a deal for 18-month financing at 0% interest with a $750 or more purchase.
And your idea was to offer 18-month 0% financing to all of our customers?
It's subject to credit approval, but yeah, that's what I was thinking.
How long will we be able to do it?
From July 1st to July 31st.
0% will let people buy diamonds that were on their bucket list.
I know what I'm buying.
I'm going on a shopping spree. I'm going to have more jewelry than the Queen of England.
So you like the idea?
We don't like it. We love it.
For the location of the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Kyle Brust-Nortman's Ben Brust here for Grimal and Associates Insurance. They do what anyone with a growing family, like myself, does. Protect what matters most. Grimal and Associates specializes in coverage that's tailored exactly to you. Clients aren't just policies. They're part of their community. Personalized American family insurance back service, expert guidance, and genuine commitment. Grimal and Associates focuses on building trusted relationships and providing peace of mind. The same values they've had for over 30 years in the Milwaukee area. Connect with Grimal and Associates at teamgrimal.com.
With a dedicated Milwaukee team, Fifth Third Bank knows what success looks like. For 15 years, we've been serving businesses, organizations, and individuals in the area with a long-standing commitment to the healthcare and not-for-profit sectors. Whether it's expansion to commercial payments, Fifth Third offers a full suite of financial services and solutions to navigate your organization's complex needs. Experience the difference with Fifth Third Bank. National Association. Custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC.
When a parent sees their child smile, they see hope. Aleem hoped that his son Rajib would have an easier life than he had. You see, Rajib, just like his father, was born with a cleft. But as a fisherman in a small village in Indonesia, the cost of surgery was out of reach. Their lives were transformed thanks to Smile Train, which sponsors free, life-changing cleft surgeries and other essential treatments. Rajib's surgery marked Smile Train's 2 millionth, and incredibly, Aleem's was the 2 million and first. Now, their smiles are a symbol of hope for children with clefts all over the world. 540 babies are born with a cleft each day, but through Smile Train, millions of lives have been changed. To learn more and support the global cleft community, visit smiletrain.org/learn. Smile Train, changing the world one smile at a time.
I'm Tiffany Haddish. And I'm Marlon Wayans. African Americans are 3 times more likely to be diagnosed with pancreatic cancer than any other racial or ethnic group. Access to cutting-edge treatment can help make long-term survival possible. That's why Stand Up to Cancer and the Lust Garden Foundation have teamed up to bring over 30 pancreatic cancer clinical trials to those who need them. For more information about the latest pancreatic cancer research and clinical trials near you, visit pancreaticcancercollective.org.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can STEM, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Or clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can STEM, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
Now see your favorite 94.5 ESPN shows streaming on video. Subscribe to ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube and get notified when we hit the air live. Plus, you can watch back any second that you miss. Watch, listen, interact. ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
for me.
You're listening to Sunday Karma on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin
And I
app.
make it smile like a drug for you. Do ever what you want to do, coming over you. Good to see Third Eye Blind last night closing out Summerfest at the BMO Pavilion. Sunday Karma on this Sunday morning. Alex drove Kyle Wallace hanging out with you from the Guru offices. One call out till studio in downtown Milwaukee. Excited to be joined now by our good friend who I spent a little bit of time with at Summerfest yesterday. Jason Wilde, the three-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year, co-host of Wilde and Tausch, weekdays from 9 to noon on ESPN Wisconsin. Good morning, Jason.
I lead kind of a semi-charmed kind of life. Good choice for the music there. Well done, Kyle.
Thank you. I would agree. I think we all live semi-charmed lives.
Yeah.
Maybe just charmed lives, flat out.
This was when you were in college or high school, Jason? College?
Ooh. Was this like 99?
Yeah, that's about right.
So right after college, then.
Yeah, no. 1, 2, 3, fourth year covering the Packers.
97 it came out. 97.
Oh, 97. All right. So, yeah, sort of. I graduated in 94. So, yeah, just out of college, sort of. Still old.
The song came out before I was born.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem. That's what I'm here for. All right, Jason, I was just unpacking our conversation from yesterday. State of the Packers 2025. If you missed it, you can find it. ESPN Wisconsin app, ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube. 3-hour conversation with Jason, Gabe, Neitzel, and myself, breaking down all things green and gold ahead of training camp starting in a couple weeks. I think my main takeaway, Jason, was the Packers need guys to evolve into superstars if they want to compete for a championship this season. That was my big takeaway. They're a good team, not a great team, right? That's what I walked away feeling on my walk home after our show yesterday. Where's your head at almost 24 hours removed?
Yeah, I don't know about superstars, but definitely stars, right? I mean, they just, I thought Gabe, who had an incredibly strong performance, I don't want to sound like I'm surprised by that. That's the norm for him. But, I thought he had some really great insights, and I would say that was his overarching theme, was that they don't have a lot of stars. And if you have stars, you think back to the 96 team, which was also apparently before you were born. They had a bunch of Hall of Famers on that team, right? I mean, Favre, Reggie, Leroy Butler. I mean, they had stars. You think back to the 2010 team, right? You had a bunch of stars there too. Not necessarily as many Hall of Famers, but you had 2 Hall of Famers in Charles Woodson and Aaron Rodgers eventually. So I do think that was a really good point by Gabe, and I think that that's something that they potentially have. I remember having a conversation, might have been on the Saturday Scramble one day, I can't remember, but it's hard to keep all the shows straight. But I was asked if the Packers were one player away from being a Super Bowl team. And I said, yeah, that maybe they are just one player away. But that one player doesn't have to be someone that they get from the outside. That one player could be someone that's already on their team. And maybe there's multiple players that fit that suit. So to me, that is the overarching question about this team. Who are those guys that are going to take not just that step, but really that leap toward being, game-changing, field-tilting players? Because they have not had guys who have been able to do that on a consistent basis. And that is one of the shortcomings of this very young, but not as young as it used to be, and certainly more experienced than it used to be, roster.
Jason Wilde with us here on Sunday Karma. Kyle, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but so tell me if I'm wrong here when I ask Jason this. But Kyle and I were just discussing the wide receiver room, as we've done quite often the last couple of years on this program.
Mm-hmm.
And Kyle said, what you're going to get with the guys that are returning. Right, Kyle? That's what you said?
I said, what the floor is for these guys, right? Like, you already know what Jaden Reed's floor is. You already know what Romeo Dobbs' floor is. You already know what Tay Wick's floor is. And last year, though they had their ups and their downs, it still was a receiving room that was part of a top 10 offense in the NFL. And so what I said is I feel good about the fact that I know what the floor is. Are they going to lead the league or be, I think, bottom three with, or I don't know how you say it, just you're smarter than me, top 3 in drops last year? Are they going to be that again probably in the NFL? I would hope not. I would think there'll be some type of improvement. Are they going to have separation issues? I would hope not. I would think that there'll be some type of improvement. We saw kind of what the bottom is, and the bottom, though it wasn't the best, it wasn't awful. It still led to a team to be top 10 on offense and also win 11 football games with their quarterback missing some games and being hurt.
Yeah, it's a really good take. It really is. I mean, I do think we know what their floor is, but I also would say that we expect more than their floor, right? I mean, their floor is not sufficient. And if it was, they wouldn't have drafted Matthew Golden in the first round. They would have drafted somebody else. So they did that for a reason, and that's because while they may know what the floor is for their guys, the floor is not high enough, close enough to the ceiling, if you will, for their liking. And I think that's rightfully so. So again, I'm still a Tay Wicks believer. You know, I have seen him do some really good things. And let's be honest, both of those guys, both Wicks and Reed, are going into year 3, right? I mean, let's think about Devontae Adams, right? He had these moments. In fact, Strofe, I know you saw this. You know, somebody, I don't know, sometimes I inadvertently go into the For You portion of the Twitter feed, which all that does is, well, never mind. That's another conversation for another day. But the issue with that, you know, I don't usually see some of these things that are from people I don't follow, and that I did see this lengthy highlight reel from their win over the Cowboys in the 2014 NFC divisional round, and that was the game that, as we were talking about yesterday, showed us that Devontae Adams, who was a rookie at the time, could be really special. And then we had the 2015 season where he played with a bad ankle and was inconsistent, had some drops, not unlike the two guys we're talking about right now. And there were people in the fan base, and you know who you are, and you can still send your apologies to Devontae in care of the Los Angeles Rams, who wanted him to be cut so they could play Jeff Janis more. You could not have been more wrong on that. We all are wrong at times, but that one's a Hall of Fame freezing cold take. And so my point is that when I look at, you know, those two guys, Reed and Wicks, they had, you know, some of that 2015 Devontae vibe to them last year. But let's see what they do in year 3, because I'm not writing either one of them off as potentially being really, really good football players.
Watching that highlight tape back, Jason, I think people forget, and me included sometimes, just how good Eddie Lacy was in that 2014 season.
That
I think it was a tank.
I always loved Eddie, and you know, he's one of those guys that, again, if we're being honest in our assessment of him, he could have had a better career than he did.
Yeah, totally.
You know, right? And look, I do think, and I think Mike McCarthy would confess to this, I do think that Mike, you know, basically calling him fat in a press conference ruined his confidence. And I think it was kind of fragile to begin with. But he's one of those guys, and you know, my buddy Mark Mayfield, who does a bunch of marketing with guys, still is working with Eddie. And Eddie is one of those guys that when Goody talks about, or LaFleur talks about, we want guys that love football. He didn't love football. He was good at it, right? But he didn't necessarily love it. And you know, it's interesting. You know, he didn't watch games in his free time. You know, he had other things that mattered to him during his playing career, and now after his playing career. So, you know, I'm not saying that you can't succeed, because he certainly did. He had back-to-back 1,100-yard seasons, right. and he was a crucial piece to some crucial victories. So you're right. He's probably underappreciated, but he also probably had a shorter career than he would have had he taken it a little more seriously and understood the talent and the gift that he had to work with.
So beside wide receiver, I think there was 2 position groups defensively that we dove pretty deep into on State of the Packers. And despite
safeties, you smushed them in with the corner discussion.
Well, safeties are in a good spot. I don't know if corner is, and I don't know if defensive line is. So I want to recap those conversations quickly on the other side. Jason Wilde with us at Sunday Karma. Alex Drove, Kyle Wallace hanging out with you until noon today, right here on ESPN Wisconsin.
You're listening to Sunday Karma on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app. On this show, it's always football season.
Yes, it'd be awesome to see him take the Rodgers year 3 jump, the Favre year 3 jump, but he's going to be the quarterback for the foreseeable future here.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
So when you keep saying pivotal year, I just wonder what is that fulcrum point that you actually think is going to happen?
Weekdays from 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN, ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube channel, and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
True Chicago-style pizza is thin, crispy, and cut into squares. And thanks to Connie's Frozen Pizza, you can enjoy a true slice of the city. You'll enjoy it so much you won't even mind where it comes from. Connie's Frozen Pizzas are made from the same cornmeal crust Connie's has been serving for over 60 years. They're perfectly cheesy, perfectly saucy, and they're exactly what you crave. Get to know the true Chicago style with Connie's Frozen Pizza. Born in Chicago, loved by cheeseheads. Available in a freezer aisle near you.
Kyle Bruston Nortman's Brad Nortman here. It's the Tsunami Express Car Wash 4th of July Sales Spectacular. Get 50% off any car wash now through July 6th. That's a long-lasting clean starting at just $5. And with free vacuums, mat cleaners, and detailing tools, we make it easy to reset your ride inside and out. No stress, no mess. Just a fresh, satisfying clean that fits right into your summer plans. Again, that's 50% off any car wash. Only through July 6th at Tsunami Express. Find your nearest location at tsunamiexpress.com.
Whether you're a local who wants to enjoy a night out or you're planning to visit Milwaukee, enjoy an artfully stylish experience at St. Kate the Arts Hotel, conveniently located in the heart of downtown Milwaukee's Theater District. With deluxe accommodations, culinary creativity, on-site art galleries, artist in residence, and nightly live music, you'll enjoy every element of your stay at St. Kate. Learn more and book your stay at stkatearts.com.
Kevin Morat, Mentality founder here with a wake-up call. You're running on fumes, gentlemen. Just 1/3 of the free testosterone you need. That's why you're drained, defeated, and disgusted with your progress. But here's the truth. Mentality doctors specialize in epic comebacks. Our clients show an increase of 30% testosterone levels within the first month. We don't just treat men, we reignite lives. Just imagine the focus, energy, and drive being restored. Your comeback starts now. Don't wait. Make this your best year yet. Start today at mentalityhealth.com/radio.
Hey ESPN Milwaukee fans, Brian Balaga here for Surfside. Summer is heating up and there's nothing more refreshing than an ice-cold Surfside iced tea and vodka or Surfside lemonade and vodka to break the heat. Made with real brewed tea and real vodka, Surfside is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar, and 0 bubbles. That's right, no carbonation, so it's easy to sip and enjoy no matter what your plans are this weekend. Look for the can with the sunset stripes, sold at bars, restaurants, and stores near you. Must be 21. Please drink responsibly.
College students, are you looking to make your campus living more comfortable, functional, and fashionable this year? Let IKEA help. From innovative storage solutions and furniture to maximize your space, to fashionable bedding and accessories to make it uniquely yours, IKEA is helping make college living truly inspired by you. And now, qualified college students can save even more with 15% off their IKEA purchase when they sign up for IKEA Family for free. Visit IKEA Oak Creek, IKEA Schaumburg, or check out the Ready for College section on IKEA.com/US to learn more.
Hi, this is Leanne Womack. I fell in love with country music as a child listening to my dad spin records at a radio station. I always dreamed of hearing my own songs on the radio. I set a goal and achieved it. You can do anything if you set your mind to it. Never let anyone tell you it's impossible. So if you have the chance to sit it out or dance, I hope you dance.
This message brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Station updates, show clips, and your place to interact with us every single day just by scrolling through your feed. Follow along on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at ESPN Milwaukee.
Baby girl. Baby girl.
This is Sunday Karma on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Kyle, is this your ringtone for your fiance?
No, my phone's on vibrate 99.9%. But it would be if I did.
Vibrate girl. It's very good. Very good. Sunday Karma with you on this Sunday morning. Alex Strofe, Kyle Wallace hanging out with you at the Gruber offices. One Call That Cell Studio, downtown Milwaukee. Our buddy Jason Wilde hanging out with us for a few more minutes. We are recapping our State of the Packers program from yesterday. Jason, Gabe Neitzel, myself. Deep dive in every position group, kind of an overview, projection of this year's Packers team. Really fun show we do every year at Summerfest. I think our longest, maybe not our longest conversations, but the ones where, I don't think concern's the right word either, but where we looked at these position groups and go, well, it might be okay. It could be good. It might also be bad. We're defensive line and corner, Jason. Is that fair? I felt like those were the two position groups where we looked at them and we went, well, could be good, could be bad. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was the only time I really disagreed with Gabe yesterday.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, he's really high on the trio that they're going to have as their top three corners, which obviously is Carrington Valentine, Keyshawn Nixon, and Nate Hobbs. And my point to him is, all three of them in their roles are varying degrees of unproven. Like, look, I think Keyshawn Nixon is a good corner. I don't think he's a top flight corner. I don't think he's an all pro corner. And he's being asked potentially to be their CB1, which he said he wanted to be, which also should have been a hint to everybody, considering he said it the day after the season ended, that Jair Alexander wasn't coming back. And he hasn't proven that he's that good, right? We can agree on that. Yep. And maybe he will. And he's also been very durable despite not being the biggest guy on the field and not being afraid of contact and physicality. So if he stays healthy and he plays at that level, you feel really good about him. Mm-hmm. Nate Hobbs, whom they signed, to a $48 million free agent deal, has never played a full NFL season. And he's never been a full-time player. He has never been on the field for all the snaps. He was a nickel guy for most of his time with the Raiders. And now, they see him as an inside-outside guy. So they want to be able to interchange him and Nixon and maybe sometimes have him in the base on the outside. And then, so he hasn't proven he can do that. And then obviously, I like to call him your guy, because you spent some time with him during the draft, and he's one of my guys that I really like, and that's Carrington Valentine. As I think you put it yesterday, right now, as a former seventh-round pick, 2 years in, 22 career NFL starts, including playoffs, he's a really good story.
Great start.
Now he's got to prove that he's a really good corner.
Yeah.
And he has certainly shown moments where you think, okay, this guy's the real deal. I have proclaimed that he has a chance to be in that pantheon of great Packers seventh-round picks that include Mark Tauscher, who played 11 years in the NFL, and Donald Driver, who is the Packers' all-time leading receiver. That's pretty elite company for this organization. Neither one of those guys are Pro Football Hall of Famers, but they're both Packers Hall of Famers. And if Carrington Valentine can do that, and if Carrington Valentine can earn himself a second contract, he'll be eligible for an extension after this season, then he's going to be moving toward being in that conversation. So, but all three of those guys have to show that, and cornerback against the batch of quarterbacks they're going to face and against the batch of wide receiver tandems they're going to face this season, that's a big ask, and they got a lot to prove.
Is summer over, Jason?
No. Why say that?
Thank you, Jason.
Why say that?
Thank you. Kids are still outside having fun. Stop it, Strofe.
Because we all know 4th of July has come and gone. You blink, training camp starts in 2 weeks. I mean, that's when Jason's summer is practically over. No.
Well, I'll say this, and I always try to remind Paula of this because she wasn't around for my youth as a beat writer. Like during the Mike Sherman era, during the Holmgren era, during the early portion of the Mike McCarthy era, when he did this weird morning practice, night practice, and then midday practice the next day schedules, that was a grind. That was a struggle. And I'm glad I didn't have kids because I was always proud of the fact that during the Sherman era, I never missed a practice. They even had these special teams only practices, and I never missed one of those. So it was like 51 practices. 51 practices a summer. And now we've got, the 13 that are open to fans, and then there's a handful of others that are open to the media but not fans. And so it's not nearly as bad. And we got some big plans still. We're headed to Madison, so it's going to be taking part in the Badger volleyball camp there with Coach Sheffield and his team, and that's awesome. And then we're going to see our buddy Matt Carney up in Door County on the eve of training camp starting. So we got I'm still going to enjoy training camp and or the days I have left before training camp starts. And then, I'm certainly going to still find a way to sneak away a little bit during the dog days of training camp as well. It's not nearly as difficult. So no, it's an endless summer for me.
Fair, endless summer. Very good. Before we let you go, the number one player you are looking forward to seeing at training camp is who?
It's number 20 in my list. It's Luke Musgrave.
Interesting.
And it's only because, and look, there's other guys too, right? Like I'm super curious. I know Tausch spent some time pretending to be a doctor on our show, even though he yelled at me for doing the same thing. But he's now changing the timeline for Christian Watson's recovery. I'm super curious to see, does he start on PUP and does he stay on PUP all the way to the start of the season, or do they take him off PUP so he can practice on a limited basis in camp, and then they IR him at the cut down, and then they can bring him back after 4 games or whatever it might be. So I'm curious about that. But Luke Musgrave, I just remember his rookie camp 2 years ago, and this is how I kind of framed it on Channel 3000 when he was the first person we profiled in the countdown of the 20 most important Packers. He was the buzz of training camp in 2023. Not Tucker Kraft, not Jaden Reed, a little bit of Dontavion Wicks, but the guy that everyone was talking about was Luke Musgrave. They did a timing thing, and LaFleur talked about the fact that of all the guys, when they ran in pads, the fastest guy at 22 miles per hour was Luke Musgrave. And, obviously his rookie season was derailed by the lacerated kidney. Last season was derailed for 10 games with a broken ankle. He's in a crucial year 3. It goes back to what we spent so much time talking about yesterday. He's just one of a bunch of guys that are in really pivotal years from the quarterback on down. But I'm just really intrigued because if he can stay healthy, and that's a big if. He missed a ton of time his last year at Oregon State too, so he's had kind of a rough run health-wise. But if he can stay healthy, I just think they've got so many. Going back to Kyle's point about the floors of all these guys, you take those top 4 wide receivers that they've got coming back, plus Matthew Golden. You take 2 underrated running backs, one that we don't know really anything about in Marshawn Lloyd. All we know is the nice things that everybody says about him, but the dude's touched the ball 6 times. But Emmanuel Wilson averaged 5 yards a carry last year, and we know what Josh Jacobs can do. You take those tight ends, if Luke Musgrave is healthy, as much as I love Chipotle Ben, Tucker Kraft and Luke Musgrave on the field at the same time in 12 personnel, that's a problem. And then obviously, we know that Jordan Love, his floor is that he's a good quarterback. Just how good to very good to great is he going to be? I'm eager to see. So there's a lot that we can be excited about on the offensive side of the ball. On defense, though, look, the guys here's the thing about the guys that I'm most interested in, like Lucas Van Ness and Rashawn Gary, because if training camp had been the judgment zone for what kind of season Rashawn Gary was going to have last year, you would have thought he was going to be Mark Gastineau, which is a very old person reference.
Yeah.
But, you really would have thought he's going to go have a 20-sack season, and then it turned out he still hasn't even had a double-digit sack season left. So he's one of the many guys on that side of the ball that also bear watching. And as I talk about today, I know you think I'm cheating when I do this, but I don't care. Number 15 on the countdown are 2 guys that have been together since their days at Georgia. And Quay Walker and Devontae Wyatt, while one didn't get the fifth-year option and one did, those two guys are also facing really pivotal years to decide just how good are those two going to be and what is their future going to look like with the Green Bay Packers. So I think it's going to be a fascinating summer, and I'm not in any rush to get there, but once we get there with the start of training camp, there's going to be a whole lot to talk about.
Can't wait. 9 Sundays away from Packers Lions at Lambeau Field, the season opener. We are into single digits in terms of weeks until football is officially back. Jason Wilde, we will be listening to you tomorrow beginning at 9 a.m. on Wilde and Tausch. Thanks, buddy.
All right, fellas. Take care. Be good.
The great Jason Wilde with us here on Sunday Karma. Want to shift focus coming up next. Big day for the crew. Big Woo is back. Brandon Woodruff will make his first start since 2023 for the Milwaukee Brewers. What does his return mean for the crew as they continue to try to chase down the Cubs? 4 games back of Chicago for first place in the NL Central. Still the wild card mix, but a little bit of a rough weekend. I think I've jinxed them since I said they were going to catch the Cubs this week. Brandon Woodruff back for the Brewers. We dive into that coming up next in 2 minutes. Sunday Karma on ESPN Wisconsin.
You're listening to Sunday Karma on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Ever notice how wine enthusiasts often speak a completely different language? And while that language may technically be English, to most people it's anything but. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor, where we stock over 8,000 varieties of wine and speak many dialects of wine English to help everyone, from the wine novice to the master sommelier. So if you need an expert recommendation for wine, or maybe you know what you want and simply need help locating it, our experienced staff has got your back. No matter the budget, occasion, or your level of wine expertise, Discount Liquor will make you feel at home. Discount Liquor. Unmatched selection, everyday low prices, a helpful staff, and 2 convenient locations. In Milwaukee on 51st and Oklahoma, and in downtown Waukesha on Barstow and Maine.
Discount liquor.
The open road is calling, and the ride begins at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee. This July, you could burn rubber on a custom Harley-Davidson in the Fire Up Your Fantasy motorcycle giveaway. Play with your rewards card all July for entries. Thursday drawings for extra cash and reward play. Fire Up Your Fantasy, only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Your current car, soon to be your old car. A new car? Better start looking. But you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with free credit score and score monitoring on most new consumer checking accounts. Because when you know you need to make a big purchase, knowing your credit score puts you in the driver's seat. You've got this with free credit monitor from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
This is Brian Balaga. You're listening to 94.5 ESPN.
94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
She wanna woo. She wanna with the woo.
You're listening to Sunday Karma on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
The wait is over. 683 days. The wait is over. Sunday Karma, ESPN Wisconsin. Alex Stroh, Kyle Wallace hanging out with you. Woo. Big woo. Brandon Woodruff back for the Brewers today for the first time in 683 days. That was August of 2023. For those of you keeping track at home. Obviously a shoulder injury. Missed the entirety of last season due to shoulder surgery. Then it's been, pretty much the entirety of this season, been trying to make a comeback. But a few setbacks in rehab starts. Obviously had that comebacker a couple weeks ago, which delayed this even further. That hit him in the elbow, but he's all right. He's ready to go. Had his final rehab start last weekend. And Brandon Woodruff returns to the roster and the mound today for Milwaukee. Now, a couple of things with the Brandon Woodruff return. First off being, I mean, we know how good this guy can be and has been for the Brewers. I feel like this is a massive thing for Milwaukee because you have some arms you're really confident in. And despite a rough start earlier this week for Jacob Mizorowski, he's been terrific in his rookie year. Freddie Peralta is going to end up being the Brewers' all-star this season. I don't think we're going out on a limb by saying that. It's either going to be him or likely maybe Trevor McGill, Abner Uribe, but I think it's likely Freddie Peralta. And you like what you've seen out of Chad Patrick, who got sent down, and we'll get to him in just a second.
Which is okay.
It's okay. He started yesterday in the Brewers' 4-2 loss, or 2-4 loss.
He pitched very well.
Yeah, he was fine, right? 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 strikeouts.
Listen,
a lot of home runs.
I'll take it. He'll work on some things in the minors. He'll be back.
He'll be back. Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. But Woodruff getting injected into this rotation for Milwaukee, you like where they're at all of a sudden. And this is a team that, remember last year, I think it was like 17 or 18 different starting pitchers last season.
Where are we at so far this season? Starting pitchers, at least 12, right?
It's quite a few. And Woodruff obviously will be another one now today. But I think you're at a point now where you look at this rotation, you go, okay, I think we actually have some consistency here. Right? I mean, you've got a lot to work with here. Peralta, Quintana, Priester, Woodruff, Mizorowski are 5 right now. And then obviously Chad Patrick just got sent back to Nashville, but as Kyle said, he will be back. I don't know how long of a stay in AAA it will be for Chad Patrick.
It may be. I mean, he'll be maybe the first guy you call up, but he has to work on some things. When I say he'll be back, he'll be part of this lineup, this rotation for years to come. He's ahead of schedule. He's ahead of schedule.
Yeah, tend to agree here in his rookie season. So Woodruff in his final rehab start, I just had it and I lost. I think it was 98 miles an hour is where he topped out at in his rehab start. 95.4 on the radar gun last week. Through 82 pitches, 95.4 is where he topped out. So, still throwing some heat. Brandon Woodruff is. An exciting return for him and an exciting return for the Brewers, who are now 4 games back of the Chicago Cubs in the NL Central. It was just 2.5 the last time you and I talked, Kyle, so my bad on that. I said they were going to catch him this week. Might take longer than a week now.
Oh, you said this week, huh?
Yeah, this upcoming week, I thought they would catch him.
You forgot the Cubs are decently good.
No, they're pretty darn good. And
Pete
Crow Armstrong, man, he is so good for them. He might be the best center fielder in baseball. And had a really nice 4th of July. Had a great catch in the first and then hit a home run, I think, in like the 2nd inning or 3rd inning. So, the Cubs are good. There's no doubt about that. And the Brewers have their work cut out for them beginning tomorrow as they play host to the Los Angeles Dodgers. So, it's a big week for Milwaukee. And to get Woodruff back to inject some life into that rotation today, this is number 14 for Brandon Woodruff, the 14th different starter for Milwaukee this season. Wow. Okay, so we're doing it again. I didn't realize it was that many already. I knew it was a lot. I didn't think it was 14. And I think last year it was 19 where they finished out at. So
they did a reliever starter game too earlier.
Oh, true. Well, they've done a few of those. Okay, sure. Fascinating. All right, need to win today. I think it's as simple as this. Salvage the series, win the series today against Miami, return home tomorrow. You get the Dodgers. It's a big series. I think I always view it this way with the Dodgers for Milwaukee, but that's like your measuring stick series. It's a 3-game series, starts tomorrow. You get that interesting Wednesday midday game that they've played a ton of this year, 1:10, first pitch on Wednesday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you host Los Angeles, the Dodgers. And then 11th, 12th, 13th. So you get a day off Thursday, and then next weekend you host the Nationals. And that is the end of the first half already, which is crazy. And then you go to the Dodgers after the All-Star break.
No, it's big for the Brewers. It really is big for the Brewers because this is your opportunity. You're not going to catch the Cubs before the All-Star break, but you want to be within striking distance after the All-Star break. Honestly, 4 games is fine. You want to try to get that to 3. 3 just seems like one series, right? They go 0-3 in the series, you sweep the series, all of a sudden you're tied. And so I think the Brewers want to keep pace. Because, again, both teams are going to have ups and they're going to have downs, but I feel like the Brewers have reinforcements coming. The bats seem to be hitting a little bit better. I know they haven't been that great the last couple of days, even though they got 5 runs, I want to say, on Friday night. But, again, I feel like this team is starting to turn a corner offensively. Now, pitching-wise, they've been solid, and I just think overall this team, when they get some more cohesiveness going into the back half of the season, I feel good about the Brewers and their opportunities and their chances.
And as you look at the back half of the schedule, with the All-Star break quickly approaching, there is 2 series in the back half of the schedule that you really got to pay attention to. The final series of July is in Milwaukee against the Chicago Cubs, 3-game series, the 28th through 30th of July. And then as you look at the middle of August, a couple weeks after that, the 18th through the 21st, you will play 5 games at Wrigley Field. 5. Because remember the rain out from a couple weeks ago. So you have a doubleheader Monday the 18th, and then you play them the next 3 days, the 19th, the 20th, and the 21st. So you've got 5 games middle of August against the Chicago Cubs.
Huge.
Which will ultimately dictate who wins the Central.
It depends on where we're at, right? I mean, when you say dictate the win, if the Brewers are, 4 games back and they take 4 or 5, then that's one thing. If the Cubs are, up 4 games and they take 3 or 5, then, yes. But I think it plays a big role in how the season will end, because that will determine whether or not September you're in a fight or September you're fighting for a wild card.
I mean, you got to win today. You obviously hope you win 2 of 3 against the Dodgers, and you hope for a sweep against the Nationals then the end of the first half of the season. So we will see, but Brandon Woodruff back on the mound. He will pitch likely twice today and then the final game before the All-Star break next Sunday before we get to the All-Star break, and then we'll see where the Brewers are at that point. But I still think they are totally in this, in the NL Central, despite being 4 games back. That's not it's obviously a hole, but it's not a massive hole. And the Cardinals are still right there. I think they're 5.5 games back, a game and a half back of the Brewers. So the Central's going to be really fun down the stretch. But
it will be. It will be. We need the Cardinals to win today, don't we?
We do.
Yeah, and then we need the Brewers to take care of business down in Miami.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Brandon Woodruff's got his sexy style, man. I hope he's good to go, and plenty of rehab starts. I mean, he's been working his way back for
years.
683 days. That's August of 23. Unbelievable. All right. Brewers and Miami in the final game of that series coming up in just a bit on 100.5 ESPN right after us. 12:40 first pitch. Believe pregame will start right at noon, or 12:10 on 100.5 ESPN. And our sister station 620 WTMJ. What a week for the Milwaukee Bucks, huh?
Yeah, that happened this week, didn't it? Boy, it's been a long one for the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't know where to begin. It's been ups and downs. I'm very curious to know where you're at, because you were on cloud 1,000 on Tuesday, I want to say that was, and so I want to know
about cloud 1,000.
No. You were high in the sky. You were high.
We'll dive into it. We'll dive into it coming up next, because it was a big week for the Bucks. I don't know if they're done. And now there's Chris Paul rumors I'm seeing, which I know Kyle's very excited about.
CP3. I love 40-year-olds.
The Packers don't.
No, the Packers.
I don't know if the Bucks should, but they might, and it might make sense for them. We'll dive into all things Bucks coming up next. He's Kyle Wallace and Alex Strofe hanging out with you. It's Sunday Karma right here on ESPN Wisconsin.
This is Sunday Karma on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app. The team you'll always remember.
There will be no undefeated champion on Wisconsin.
With a reunion you'll never forget.
And I went to shake hands, and they just dabbed me, and I remember we turned around and I looked at him as a game over.
Relive Made 'em Believe starting July 8th on ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube and the ESPN Wisconsin app. Brought to you by M3 Insurance Company, Potosi Varsity Ale, and Potosi Hard Seltzers. Made 'em Believe. Available starting July 8th.
Is that knee, hip, or shoulder pain not getting any better? Maybe you're stuck in a cycle of steroid shots and now talking about surgery. Well, before you head down that road, you need to check out my friends at QC Kinetics. Hey, it's Brad Nortman, and I've got to tell you about how QC Kinetics is revolutionizing medicine with their regenerative and cellular treatments. Using their advanced cellular therapy, QC Kinetics is helping your body heal itself. And don't just take my word for it. The results from their patients is off the charts. 92% of patients report satisfaction with their results. In fact, most people that come in for their free consultation ask if they can just start right away. It doesn't cost a thing for that second opinion with QC Kinetics. You owe it to yourself to live a pain-free life, and you owe it to yourself to check out QC Kinetics. The results could be life-changing. Call QC Kinetics today at 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474.
My overall experience with Gruber Law Offices has been phenomenal.
The treatment was excellent.
They will be supportive of you. They will listen to you.
It was a great experience knowing that I had people to help me.
I know I could count on them to do what I needed to get done.
Experience with Gruber was great.
They gave me my life back.
It was amazing.
He gets results.
We know how to win. If you've been injured, call Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Gruber Law Offices had my best interests at heart.
Here's to experiencing it all this summer in Wisconsin. Every deliciously cheesy, rockin', magical, fireworks-filled, festival-loving moment. There's Cheese Curd Fest in Ellsworth, Strawberry Fest in Cedarburg, Festival of the Arts in Stevens Point, and the Renaissance Fair in Bristol, Honor the Earth Powwow in Hayward, Mile of Music in Appleton, Venetian Fest, Bratfest, Summerfest. So many fests for your whole crew. Find them all at TravelWisconsin.com. Sponsored by Travel Wisconsin.
It's party time at Cousins Subs. For a limited time only, Cousins 2-foot party subs are back. Choose from the club, ham and provolone, Italian special, or turkey. Each party sub is just $39.99. Feeds 5 to 8 people and requires 24-hour notice to order. And now you can complete your party by adding a party chip bag and a dozen chocolate chip cookies for just $4.99. Order today in store, online, or on the app. Cousins Subs. We believe in better.
Forget average. At Exterior Pros, they bring the heat. They're not here to meet standards, they're here to smash them. From the first swing of the hammer to the final reveal, they're leveling up your home with every window, every shingle, and every single detail. This isn't just a remodel, it's a glow up for your house. Built tough, built beautiful, built to turn heads. Want in? Let's go. Lock in your project now and save $3,000. Exterior Pros, where bold meets built. Trust the pros and visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274.
Whether you're a local who wants to enjoy a night out or you're planning to visit Milwaukee, enjoy an artfully stylish experience at St. Kate the Arts Hotel, conveniently located in the heart of downtown Milwaukee's Theater District. With deluxe accommodations, culinary creativity, on-site art galleries, artist in residence, and nightly live music, you'll enjoy every element of your stay at St. Kate. Learn more and book your stay at stkatearts.com.
Kyle Bruston Nortman, KBN.
Were they good enough in that game against Philadelphia? Yes. But the narrative that the defense this past season, this is blasphemy.
You're listening to ESPN Milwaukee on 94.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Miami. South Beach, bringing the heat. Can y'all feel that? Can y'all feel that? Jig it out.
You're listening to Sunday Karma on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Sunday Karma with you. ESPN Wisconsin. Alex Grove, Kyle Wallace. On this Sunday morning, 11:21 Central Time. Kyle, I gotta give you credit, man. You got me feeling good this morning with the music choices. Nice work.
You know, I try my best, man. I try my best.
Doing a nice job today. Running the show as always. It was a week. I mean, it's hard to believe everything that happened this week was this week. Right? I mean, it feels like we've had 3 weeks. The 4th of July was only 2 days ago. I felt like that was a week ago. Unbelievable. So let's just recap, since the last time we spoke with you here on Sunday Karma, what the Milwaukee Bucks have gotten into. So they, on Monday, re-signed Gary Trent Jr., Kevin Porter Jr., and Taurean Prince. Or actually, right before that, I think it was Saturday or Sunday, they re-signed Bobby Portis to a 3-year deal as well. So all those guys are back. Then Tuesday is where it got nuts. You know, for a team that obviously is trying to appeal to its biggest superstar, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and say, hey, man, look, your best opportunity to win a title, win another championship, is in Milwaukee. They needed to do something. Obviously, no Damian Lillard for the upcoming season, or at least the majority of the upcoming season, due to that Achilles tear he suffered. So you all of a sudden, you're looking at this roster at the end of last season, going, uh-oh. Gap year incoming. This is going to be a year of Giannis goes out, he has fun, he puts up a bunch of points, maybe wins an MVP, and this is probably a 6 seed, right? That's what we were looking at a week ago. And the appeal for Giannis was just wait it out one more year, and then we'll be back in title contention in 2 years. John Horst, Tuesday morning, goes ahead and lands what many viewed as the biggest free agent out there, Miles Turner, now the former Indiana Pacers center, coming off a finals run with Indiana. And waves and stretches, I will explain that in just a moment, the remainder of a $113 million contract for Damian Lillard. Now, how that works in the NBA is if you waive a player and want to stretch their contract over the course of X amount of time, it is the remaining years on their deal times 2 plus 1. So Damian Lillard had 2 years left on his contract. So you times that by 2, you get 4, and you add 1, it's 5. So you have the ability to stretch that over a 5-year period. And what the Bucks are going to do is in their salary cap, or in their cap, they're going to have just over $22 million a year for the next 5 years going to, nobody. Right? Damian Lillard will get that paid out in full, but he won't be on the roster. So $22+ million per year for the next 5 years will go to nothing. And that is a desperate move. It is a crazy move, but it is a move to compete now. John Horst is capitalizing on the window that he knows he will have Giannis Antetokounmpo in Milwaukee. And frankly, while it is a bonkers decision, it is the right move. Because the wrong move would be setting yourself up for failure in retaining Giannis. Right? Anything that would lead Giannis to be traded or to leave in free agency or, say adios to Milwaukee is the worst thing you can do. So, yeah, you got to do some things that are viewed as absurd, insane, crazy, bonkers, like paying $22+ million a year for the next 5 to nobody. And that's ultimately what the Bucks decided. But that allowed them the flexibility to go out and land a guy like Miles Turner, who is an undeniable upgrade from Brook Lopez. Everything Brook does well, Miles Turner does it better at this juncture in his career. Defensively, he's a great shot blocker, really good rim defender. Offensively, he's going to allow Giannis the freedom to do what Giannis, this is going to be Giannis ball, is what the Bucks are going to play.
He's probably worse back to the basket at the basket than Brook was, but better elbow, 15, 18-foot jumper consistently.
Splash Mountain 2.0.
Yeah, just very, very different. I'm with you on this, but one thing I will say is that at a certain point, the Milwaukee Bucks are going to have a serious conversation with Giannis about what the evolution of his career looks like. And so maybe they've already had that conversation. Maybe the Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis have already agreed. I don't want us to go young. I don't want to wait for guys to develop. What I want to do is I want to have veterans around me so I have a chance to win every single season. And if that's what he's going to do, then that means that you're going to have to take these swings for different guys who are in their 30s and more susceptible to injuries and different things where you may not ever get back over that hump. The Milwaukee Bucks, we have to understand, is that we won when Chris Middleton was almost 30, right? Drew Holiday, I think, was like exactly 30 or going on 31. Giannis was like 26 years old. Like, these guys were they were still young. The Bucks weren't old. And then you see it, the two teams that made it to the finals this year, the Pacers had a lot of young guys on their team. When I say young guys, they're talking about guys in their 20s, right? Miles Turner might be one of the older guys on that roster last year at 29. You look at OKC, we already know how young that roster is. It is a young man's league. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, still guys who were in their 20s when they won a championship last year. And so what Giannis and the Bucks have to understand, they can keep taking these shots at it, but at some point it can't be these older veterans. It needs to be some younger guys, but they're so hard to get some of those younger guys because they're under contract with so many different teams or their own teams. But then on top of that, they cost a lot of money. They cost a lot of capital. So my biggest fear for the Bucks is that they're going to continue to be a hamster on this wheel of getting guys and 29, 30, 31, 32-year-old guys that are still in their prime, but they're at the back end of their prime. We got Dame at the back end of his prime, right? And so that is my biggest fear, is that guys on their back end of their prime don't win championships. And guess what? Giannis is in his prime. 2 years from now, 3 years from now, Giannis will be in the back end of his prime.
Correct. Maybe. I don't know, man. He's a genetic freak.
30. I think he just turned 30 this year. So he's 30. And so, 33, 34. Listen, the way he plays, he's so aggressive.
No, I totally agree with you. I hear you. I'm just, I'm saying maybe not because it's freaking Giannis, man. He might play till he's 50.
I would be astonished.
I'm joking.
I'm
Regardless,
astonished if he doesn't break down at some point in his mid-30s.
The thing everybody agrees on, I think, and if you disagree with me, hit me on the Carbless Talking text line, 800-990-3776. List is more with Carbless. You have to capitalize on Giannis's prime, to your point, Kyle. Right? There can't be what we discussed prior to Tuesday, the quote-unquote gap year. There can't be a year where you say, hey, Giannis, just go out and have fun and, chalk it up. It'll be an okay year. And then next year, we're actually going to try to go all in and win a championship. John Horst realized that would be irresponsible as the general manager, as the guy who oversees basketball operations in this roster. It would be irresponsible to, in a year 30/31 season for Giannis Antetokounmpo, it'd be irresponsible to not put better pieces around him, or at least try to upgrade the pieces around him. Now, you feel pretty good about some of the pieces they're running it back with, right? Especially the young ones. And Kevin Porter Jr. specifically, you feel great about that. Having Bobby Portis under contract for another couple seasons is a depth piece. It's a good move.
I'm not saying it's not, just saying old.
The one where you go, okay, I hope we see what we saw in the playoffs is Gary Trent Jr., and we see that consistently.
Well, it was so different in the playoffs because his role changed from being a guy that was catch and shoot, where they needed him to score because Dame was hampered and out, and so you didn't have Chris Middleton anymore, so you needed a second go-to scorer. And I think one thing that you can be optimistic about is that these dudes in the NBA can ball, like these dudes can hoop. And Gary Trent Jr., I feel like he might be a guy that we may see him step up, and he may average like 15, 16 points per game next year.
Over at BleacherReport.com, quote, this is the title, Chris Paul Bucks reportedly had conversation amid NBA contract rumors after Dame exit. This from ESPN Shams Charania on SportsCenter Thursday. Chris Paul, quote, had a conversation with Bucks officials on Wednesday. He is sorting through options, though, right now, whether it's on the West Coast, a team like Milwaukee, we'll see where his future could go, end quote, from Shams Charania. Mark Stein, another NBA insider, reporting that the Bucks have interest in Chris Paul, adding that the veteran had turned down interest from both the Dallas Mavericks and the Charlotte Hornets. So, from a fit perspective, the Bucks could make sense for Chris Paul. But does Chris Paul make sense for the Bucks? Obviously, it seems like John Horst and company think the answer is probably yes. You need a ball handler. You need a guy who can run the offense if need be. I've talked plenty about it this week. They likely will run the point forward system, at least as the roster stands right now. Let Giannis bring the ball up, set up the offense, and that's what I mentioned earlier. You're going to be playing Giannis ball. But if you add a guy like Chris Paul, maybe that changes the dynamic of your offense a little bit.
You need
if you can get him on a veteran minimum.
You got to listen. If do you believe in Ryan Rollins? Which I don't know if you have a roster spot after that, but you can't. This is the problem with the Bucks. Is you can't bring in Chris Paul and then have no solution the following year. Like if you're
it'd be KPJ likely.
No, KPJ isn't a point guard. KPJ likes to get to the rack. I'm talking about a facilitator of the basketball, a guy that can defend a little. Chris can't play defense at this age stage of his career whatsoever. He did play 82 games last year. He can knock down an open shot as well, and I love the leadership that he brings, but I need him to be coaching up somebody to come after him. That is my biggest beef and issue with the Milwaukee Bucks, is that there is no heir apparent ever at any position. They move on and they bring in new guys. There has to be a certain point where somebody, just somebody. I love the development of AJ Green, but he ain't nothing but a catch and shooter. I just want to have a position where we say, okay, we're grooming you to be this. But the Bucks don't have that. Like, we need to find a young point guard. It'd be great to bring in Chris Paul, groom the young point guard, give him time to grow, and then when Chris Paul goes on after this season, now you got a guy who's had an opportunity to play with a Hall of Famer, get tutelage from a Hall of Famer, get coached up on the court by a Hall of Famer, and then they're ready to go. It's like when we look at the Green Bay Packers, you always know who's coming next. At least you think you know who's coming next.
Right.
The Bucks just don't have that, but they're in that win now mode, and they get rid of everything. Chris Livingston, they got rid of that project. The Bucks initially signed him to like a big contract in the second round when they drafted him, and now they got rid of him. I'm just, at some point, we got to find somebody that we can build and develop to be the next heir apparent to help build this roster.
Yeah. We will see. I agree with your point on Ryan Rollins. Totally agree with you on that. That whole situation, very strange. He could be back in theory. I mean,
but now other teams can offer him a contract, and he's
they always
unrestricted.
could.
But no, it was different though because now he's unrestricted, so he
Right.
can do what he wants to do, and the Bucks don't have any type of leverage or
Correct.
anything. They just
Correct.
if he signs somewhere else, he signs somewhere else. Now maybe on GP, he's gonna say, all right, well the Bucks rescinded that, but I have an opportunity to still come back.
And then he likely comes back in a small deal, but and probably a 1-year deal, maybe a 2-year deal.
You know he's going to get playing time with Milwaukee next year.
He would.
It was clear. It was clear Doc Rivers actually valued him because he even played in the playoffs.
Yes, he did.
So it's clear Doc Rivers values what he can bring. He played well late, and so I do think it would be a great move to bring him back. And I'm interested to see what's there. I don't know how great of a facilitator he was, but he had a little lengthy body. So I'm curious to see. And he can knock down an open shot.
I mean, it could ultimately end up being, if they go get a veteran, that means Ryan Rollins isn't back. And if they don't go get a veteran, that means Ryan Rollins could be back. But how great do you feel about your point guard depth at that point? So that's
you don't have point guard depth.
Exactly.
You don't have a real point guard on the roster right now.
Thank you for saying what we were all thinking. Well done. So we'll see. I always love seeing things I've never seen before. And that was the case Friday. And like Kyle just did, he said what we were all thinking. That's what somebody refused to do on Friday. I will explain what I'm talking about coming up next. Sunday, Karma, Alex drove Kyle Wallace with you. But first, got to tell you about my friends at Door County Distillery. Locally produced, handcrafted, award-winning spirits made locally in beautiful Door County. Where Jason's heading to Door County a little bit earlier. If you're heading to Door County this summer, just north of Sturgeon Bay and Carlsville is Door County Distillery, Door County Winery, Door Peninsula Winery, rather. All connected in the same building. You can do the tours. You can do the tastings. You can see exclusive products. I love the bourbon from Door County Distillery. Picked up when I was up there, what was that, about a month ago now? Picked up a bottle of their maple-aged bourbon. Delicious, terrific. But you can get the bourbon all over the state of Wisconsin, whether you're in Madison or Milwaukee. They've also got gins, rums, vodkas, a lot of those, brandies, also infused with local Door County cherries. Bunch of local collaborations done for Door County Distillery. They are the best. Check them out, doorcountydistillery.com. Find the retailer nearest you, whatever you've got going on. Weddings, tailgates, grad parties. Elevate it with Door County Distillery, doorcountydistillery.com. More Sunday Karma right after this on ESPN Wisconsin.
You're listening to Sunday Karma on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Monica, we've got to hand it to you.
You and the design team have outdone yourselves.
Are you talking about the One collection?
Those rings say you are the one.
And they say it symbolically.
Describe the symbols.
Every ring in the One collection should be presented with a special ritual.
What would that ritual be?
You pick up her left hand and you place a kiss on her ring finger.
Rick, you never told me about that part.
Then you show her the tiny red diamond, flush mounted inside the ring, that will forever be in contact with her finger.
Why is it red?
Because that's when the giver says to the one, wherever you go, my heart goes with you.
I give you this kiss. I give you my heart.
The red diamond is a secret symbol of that sacred moment.
The center diamond on the outside of the ring is for the whole world to see.
But the tiny red created diamond inside the ring is only for the two of them.
The One collection of engagement rings is available exclusively at Kessler's.
To find the Kesslers nearest you,
visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Fisco is always there for your auto body care. When accidents happen, Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin is there when you need them. Got a broken mirror? They'll take care of it. Dented bumper? Scratch paint? Fisco Auto Body will take care of it. If there's any damage you need fixed, Fisco has you covered. Their expert workmanship is guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. So stop in for all of your auto bumps and dings. Once again, you know the line. That's Fisco.
Are you going to do something today?
Yes, I am.
And what exactly might that be?
My plan is to sit here and enjoy our amazing new patio set from Steinhoffel's.
Steinhoffel's 4th of July sale is going on now. Take 10% off store-wide, plus an extra $100 off every $999 you spend. But don't wait too long because this sale ends soon.
Now, would you be a sweetheart and get me another lemonade? I have to stay hydrated.
Steinhoffel's 4th of July sale, going on now.
Make plans to stop by Third Ward Beer Garden at Catalano Square. Experience Milwaukee's favorite beer garden, the perfect spot to meet up with friends in the Third Ward. Open Wednesday through Sunday with live music Thursday through Saturday. Good times and great vibes await at Third Ward Beer Garden.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows.
With Kyle Wallace, choose from payments as low as $99 a month or 12 months with no payments and no interest, plus a free in-home window and energy assessment. Restrictions apply. Call 414-410-2000.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
At Citizens Bank, community banking is you, growing your business with a partner who gets it. It's you, buying your first home with a lender who makes it easy. It's you, building a future with savings that work just as hard as you. And it's us, working together to strengthen our community. Because at Citizens Bank, community banking means you plus us. Visit us at citizensbankwi.bank. Citizens Bank is member FDIC and an equal housing lender.
Get ready to say goodbye to those bland seltzers at the ballpark. Carbless is proudly Wisconsin-born, crafted by real people. A husband and wife team who wanted better cocktails in a can. They're locally made and blissfully better. Carbless offers a bold, true cocktail flavor that's made for baseball fans. Available in fan-favorite flavors like lemon lime, black raspberry, cranberry, and mango, bringing the craft cocktail bar to your seat. Refreshment that matches the energy of American Family Field is Carbless. Full of flavor, no sugar, and no carbs. Just game day bliss.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel neglected or unloved? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Whether it's breaking Packers news, breaking Bucks news, or breaking Brewers news, we are Milwaukee's place for the biggest sports stories right when they happen on 94.5 ESPN and the ESPN Wisconsin app. You're listening to Sunday Karma on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
If you a bad chick, run it up. Freak, touch her toes like what? She said the summertime, she tryna have some fun.
Sunday Karma with you, ESPN Wisconsin, 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, 100.5 ESPN Madison, 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam. I'm Alex Stroh. Kyle Wallace hanging out with me as well from the Gruber Law Offices, One Call That's All studio in downtown Milwaukee at the 3rd Street Market Hall. Who is this?
310, baby. He
opened for T. Grizzly, right?
He was like 17 when he went platinum. They played a song at his graduation, high school graduation.
310 Baby with 2 I's, right? Babii?
I think so. I like Soak City.
So, every 4th of July brings one of the strangest sporting events that America is fascinated by annually. And that, of course, is the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest.
Ooh, did you know there's another one going on?
What do you mean?
Tory Lowe had one.
He had one on the 3rd here at 3rd Street Market Hall.
I plan on doing it next year.
What did they all eat?
They ate, his son won 6 dogs. You had to eat 6 different hot dogs from Dog City out here.
Nice.
They had a pie eating contest and they had a wing eating contest.
All 3 of them?
They had different contestants.
I assume one person, you just competed in one. Which one did Tory's son win?
He won the dog eating contest.
Good for him.
He was downing those dogs.
Interesting.
He's like 11, 12, well, it might be 12 or 13 now. And he ate like 4
Was he dipping them in water like they do in the Nathans?
No, he was eating them like just, like bun hot dog. 13. Wow. And he had eaten at Summerfest.
Jeez.
So he had eaten at like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock.
He's a growing boy.
He is an endless pit. An endless pit. I said, bro, what? Bro, I just saw you eat a dang hamburger and cheese curds, courtesy of Major Goolsby's.
That's funny. So the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest on Friday. Joey Chestnut wins the men's side. 70.5 was his number.
That's good for sitting out a year.
Yeah, he had the whole Impossible Meats thing last year, which essentially didn't allow him to compete last year. So you may not have watched last year because he didn't have the terrifying beast that is Joey Chestnut. But on the women's side, there was a disqualification for the first time in several years. Kyle, did you hear about this?
Oh, wow. What did she do? She threw up too soon?
Madison Barone was disqualified. Here was the official release from Major League Eating. Quote, Miss Barone experienced urges contrary to swallowing after the contest, but before the conclusion of presentation and the awarding of places. Urges contrary to swallowing.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, you do. She lost her cookies. She threw up.
Oh, she threw up. Why didn't they just say she puked? She vomited.
Well, I'm glad you asked.
She vomited before.
George Shea is the contest announcer for Major League Eating. He's been the contest announcer since 1991.
Yep.
And he was quoted as saying, quote, "We will only say urges contrary to swallowing. We never utter any other words. It is like saying Voldemort." End
Got
quote.
it. Got it. So before, because how long did that stay down until you get to the?
You have to get through the presentation of the awards.
And she won. She was first place.
I don't think she was first place.
Oh.
It actually doesn't even say how many she won, but no. Mickey Sudo won again, as she always does. 31 hot dogs and buns for her.
Wow, that's a big gap between men and women.
Her record of all time is 51. So she was way under that today, but it was 11th title for Mickey Sudo. I don't know where Barone ended up because obviously she was disqualified due to urges contrary to swallowing. But regardless, I read this release earlier today or maybe yesterday, and why don't we just say what it is? I don't know. Like, I understand they don't want to say vomit or puke. They don't want to say that for Major League Eating. It's probably a bad look given what they do. But we could do better than urges contrary to swallowing, couldn't we?
That is a weird way to phrase it and to say it. I don't like that phrasing of her throwing up. I mean, it's obvious what she did, but it's just the way they say it, you're like, wait, what? Urges contrary
to swallowing.
And so, I mean, it's like she did the opposite of swallowing.
Yes, that is effectively what they are saying. Yes.
Yeah, that's odd. I mean, nobody pays attention to any of this eating stuff until now.
I want to know how many she ate, though. And I can't find that answer. But anyway, urges contrary to swallowing. Hopefully nobody had urges contrary to swallowing at their barbecue for the 4th of July.
Did you go to a barbecue?
Kinda, yeah. Yeah, we were at my girlfriend's grandparents' house. We grilled out a little bit. We were kind of all over the place. We were over at a park in Whitefish Bay after the parade.
Oh, you went to Clody?
Yeah.
I was thinking about going there. You know, those are my old school stomping grounds, Milwaukee boy. But
there's a lot of people there.
Yeah, always is. You probably saw a lot of folks that I know out that way.
You're a popular guy out in those parts. I was just name dropping you left and right.
I mean, I don't know if you're being honest.
I'm with Kyle Wallace, and they go, "Oh yeah, this way."
I mean, legitimately, it would mean something.
Got a police escort at one point.
I mean, not that. I mean, I do know some of the police over there.
But hopefully in a good way.
Yeah, no, in a great way.
Okay.
Yeah, man, that's good. That's good. I was at a lake.
And then got home on 4th of July evening and popped a Cheez-It pizza in the oven. We found them. We bought 5 of them last week. We're down to 1 in the freezer. We've had 4 of them. So we will do our Palermo's picks coming up next. We got to talk Brewers. We got to talk Brewers at some point, but those Cheez-It pizzas so good. We'll tell you more about that coming up next.
They are delicious.
We'll tell you more about that coming up next. But Kyle, you got to. I saw your buddy David Gruber and Nancy Gruber yesterday at Summerfest.
Oh wow, where were they at?
They popped by State of the Packers for a little bit.
Oh, that is wonderful. They're always popping by because they're always part of the community.
They're everywhere.
Always part of the community. They probably pop by the Gruber Sports Zone that they have there at Summerfest year after year. But here's the thing I love about Gruber is when you make one call, that's all. The Gruber Law Office, they take care of you. And here's what y'all need to know. I got into a car accident. Somebody hit me in the back. Bow. Rear-ended me. And I was sitting there. I was all messed up. And about a day or two later, I was calling my insurance company to try to figure some stuff out. And I told them my back hurt. And then I didn't hear from them again. And I talked to somebody here and said, Kyle, what are you doing? You know who to call. I said, I do know who to call. I made one call to Gruber Law Offices, and they truly took care of the rest because they stand up for victims. They take the burden off your shoulder. They let you focus on healing. They let you as the client focus on healing while they focus on getting what you deserve. And the best thing about Gruber Law Offices outside of the great customer service they have is you never pay a single penny. You never pay a cent until they win your case. So there's nothing better than that. They have a reputation that speaks for themselves, and they are a winning team. You always want to get with a winning team when you're going through a situation like that. Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices is one call, that's all, and you can take care of everything. So call them today at 414-276-6666. That's 414-276-6666, or visit them at gruber-law.com. It's always one call, that's all, with Gruber Law Offices.
We've got to get into our Palermo's picks, and we will make Palermo's picks coming up next. But also, what happened since the NBA Finals has ended? Didn't we do a contest of some sort?
Craig, Craig lost it.
Can you text him?
Sure.
And just say, hey, who won?
Craig, he's lost it. He's like, oh, we do some other picks and stuff like that. He forgot what we did for hockey. It's a mess. It is a mess. What a surprise.
What a surprise. All right, Palermo's picks coming up next as we wrap up Sunday Karma on this Sunday. Kyle Wallace, Alex Strofe with you right after this on ESPN Wisconsin.
This is Sunday Karma on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
People need people, whether in Junior Achievements BizTown, where students work together to run a city, or in the real world, where blood donors can help save lives. Join Junior Achievement of Wisconsin Anniversary for a mobile blood drive on Tuesday, July 15th from 2 to 6:30 p.m. at JA's headquarters near Highway 100 and Good Hope Road. While you're there, tour Jim's JA BizTown, where students take on real-world roles like CEO, banker, and mayor, learning how communities thrive through teamwork and leadership. Sign up today at wisconsin.ja.org.
Hi, I'm Brittany Miller from Big Frog Custom T-Shirts and more. Custom T-shirts, sweatshirts, jackets, hats, you name it, we can do it. Big Frog Custom T-Shirts and more is family owned and all about celebrating life's big moments. Maybe it's a milestone birthday, a celebration for your child's first goal, or that work fundraising event. We are everyone's printer. No minimum orders, affordable designs, and help straight from me and our team. We're the one-stop shop for all your custom needs. Start your project today at bigfrog.com/Mequon.
Progressive knows when you're in your RV, you're already on vacation. That's when you become Vacation You, who just camped where there's absolutely no shade. Even though regular you burns easily. In fact, Vacation You burns too, but is too stubborn to admit it, which is why regular you gets in trouble at the dermatologist, because Vacation You doesn't do doctors. So bundle your RV with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
July 4th may be over, but Macy's July 4th sale is still on, with everything you need to keep the vibe going all summer long. Hosting? Turn your backyard into a party destination with 40 to 50% off outdoor dining and entertaining. Beachbound? Turn heads in this season's hottest swimsuits, sundresses, and more. Get away with the kids? Superpower their summer with 25 to 60% off toys from Nerf and more. But hurry, because the sale ends tonight at Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Kyle Brust-Nortman's Ben Brust here for Grimal and Associates Insurance. They do what anyone with a growing family, like myself, does. Protect what matters most. Grimal and Associates specializes in coverage that's tailored exactly to you. Clients aren't just policies. They're part of their community. Personalized American Family Insurance back service, expert guidance, and genuine commitment. Grimal and Associates focuses on building trusted relationships and providing peace of mind. The same values they've had for over 30 years in the Milwaukee area. Connect with Grimal and Associates at teamgrimal.com.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
They treated me like family. They're actually people that you can depend on.
They made me feel seen. They really treated me like I was a part of their family, a part of their team.
They ask how you're doing, how you're feeling.
They're just so welcoming and so sweet and kind.
It's like family. Caring about another member of the family.
If you've been injured, it costs you nothing to see if Gruber Law Offices can help.
Hey, this is Mike from Infinity Exteriors. Buying a roof, siding, or windows can feel overwhelming. Hidden costs, confusing contracts. We don't play that game. We educate you so you can decide. And when you know the facts, Infinity Exteriors is the clear choice. Since 1997, we've installed peace of mind with no surprise upcharges, flexible budgets, and immediate financing. Infinity Exteriors, saving our communities from unscrupulous contractors. Visit infinityexteriors.com.
Tracy Lawrence for the U.S. Air Force.
We all have tough choices we have to make. Life just works that way. I remember when I was getting ready to move to Nashville to pursue my dream, I packed my 10-year-old Toyota Corolla with 250,000 miles on it and hit the road. It was a tough choice, but the right one for me. If I decided to take what seemed like an easier road, I never would have achieved my dream. You can do anything if you put your mind to it. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Start the day with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
You can't get to the Super Bowl in early October, but they are not playing like a team that has those types of aspirations right now.
On 94.5 ESPN, ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube channel, and the ESPN Wisconsin app. It's that time.
Yes, it's finally here.
Craig makes his picks of the week.
You can bet the house on it.
Picks of the week on Sunday Karma with Craig Karmazin. Presented by Palermo's Pizza, Wisconsin's hometown pizza.
Can't wait to see what happens next.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Palermo's Picks Time. Sunday Karma. Alex Rove, Kyle Wallace with you. Of course, brought to you by our friends at Palermo's Pizza. And I mentioned it earlier, the Cheez-It Pizza, man. It is so good. The legendary snack cracker is now available as a frozen pizza. Each crust, it's a square pizza. So it's literally a giant Cheez-It on the bottom. Supreme, pepperoni, cheese, your options. We have a bunch of the pepperoni. Well, we did. We had 5. We're down to 1 left in the freezer. It's so good, though. I think it says cook it for 8 minutes. I usually go about 9. I usually do about an extra minute. Just a little crispier. It's so good. If you haven't tried it, you gotta. It's fine. Find the Cheez-It frozen pizza in your favorite grocer's frozen pizza section. As few as 8 minutes, you can cook it. It's so good. Italian 4 cheese, cheddar jack supreme, and pepperoni for the all-new Cheez-It pizza. If you haven't tried it, believe the hype. It's as good as it sounds. The friends from Palermo. It's so screaming good. Palermo's Pizza. All right, Palermo's Picks time. Rubber match today for the Brewers and the Marlins in the return game for Brandon Woodruff. We are about 40 minutes away from his first pitch of not only this season, but also last season. He has not pitched in the major league since August of 2023 due to that shoulder injury. Had a couple setbacks earlier this year. During some rehab starts as he got geared up to return. And now today is the day, July 6th, Brandon Woodruff's first game with the Milwaukee Brewers since August of 2023. 683 days. I think it returns in fashion, Kyle. Potawatomi Sportsbook I saw has it at 4.5 a strikeout count. Smash the over on that. I think Woody has a good start today.
I think so, too. Miami's not that great. So.
No, they're not.
So I think Woody does. He's been pitching very well in the minor leagues when his rehab starts, all the way from, I think he went from the Timber Rattlers to AAA out down there in Nashville. Thank you. And so I feel good about Woodruff, man. I think he's a pro's pro. And I think he won't be too overhyped up. I think he'll calm himself down and understand it's just another game, but it's important. But the only thing about the 5 strikeouts that I don't see them letting him go too deep. What do you think? 5 innings max?
Yeah, probably.
80 pitches, maybe.
Yeah.
70,
I think he threw 87 in his last rehab start,
so
maybe 89.
So they'll probably be around there. And it looks like the Brewers may go with a 6-man rotation potentially as well, too.
Yeah, they could. I hate to say this about a game in early July, but it feels like this is one they got to win. You know, keep me in with the Cubs. They're 4 games back.
So if the Cubs lose today and we lose today, we're still 4 games back.
Correct.
So how is this a got to win?
Just win the series. You're playing a worse team, an inferior team, right? Just win the series.
Yeah, that I agree with. The Brewers have done a very good job of beating lesser opponents.
Obviously lost to them yesterday. So win the series. Series is tied 1-1. Get the series win today. And obviously, win more than you lose. You're going to keep pace with the Cubs no matter what they do today against the Cardinals in their final game. So we will see. Who's off today? No Joey Ortiz today. Rhys Hoskins is dealing with that hand injury. He's out today. So Jake Bowers will start at first base. Andrew Monasterio will start at shortstop. Contreras is DHing, so Haas is catching. He's batting 9th. But otherwise, it's your normal starters. Yelich, Churia, Frelick in the outfield. Infield is Durbin at third. As I mentioned, Monasterio at shortstop. Turang at second. Bowers at first. Haas catching, and Woodruff throwing. For the Brewers today, it's a 12:40 first pitch out in Miami between these two teams in the rubber match of this 3-game series. Brandon Woodruff is back. The big woo. Back. Do you know there's a Woodruff Street in Whitefish Bay?
Of course I do, and it's been around way before Brandon Woodruff was thought of.
Yeah, but I was walking around the other day, as I mentioned on the 4th of July, and I went, hey, Woodruff Street. Or Woodruff Ave, whatever it is. Got me excited for his return.
Woodruff Avenue, I believe.
I think it's Ave. Yeah.
Yep. Those people who grew up on that one.
There you go. All right, well, that will do it for us. Kyle's back with you next Sunday here on Sunday Karma. We are back with you beginning at 2 o'clock on Kyle Bruston Nortman tomorrow here on these very stations. That's it for Sunday Karma. Kyle, send us out. Peace.
Love roller coaster loop around in the zone. Love roller coaster up and down pretty strong. Just like gold, I'm already sold at the
This is ESPN Wisconsin and ESPN.